Hi there, and welcome back to the Lisa Nichols Show, where I share with you tools that you, I, and all of us need to help live the life that we deserve, help have the relationships, the experiences that make us feel joy and happy. One of my favorite things to do is to read your comments and to really see how a particular episode impacted you. Whenever I share a message in any one of my episodes, I'm praying that this is the very thing that you needed to hear. So when I get feedback from you, it brings me so much joy. In one of my episodes, Learn How to Say No, Maranjali says, I love you, Lisa. I love you too. She says, my BOL, Breakthrough Out Loud, was, I used to be a yes person all the time. I'm learning that I can devalue my yes by giving it away too easy. Oh, Maranjali, this was such a breakthrough for me as well. So I'm glad you got it. And then Botho says, no is a complete sentence. Big BOL, exclamation point 4 times. Yes, no is in fact a complete sentence. Doesn't require any reasoning, doesn't require any why, it just requires the no. You know, one of the big things that I've learned is that the more I owned my own authority, the more I can honor other people's awareness, honor where they are, the more I stood in my own grace and compassion, the more I can honor the grace and compassion of others. The more I owned my no, the more grateful I was for other people's yeses. So it's just one of these things where the more you work on you, the more you turn the mirror to you versus pointing at everyone else, the more you turn the mirror to you and work on you, man, the dynamics between you and everyone else just gets richer. I became a more compassionate, more giving, more loving friend when I became more compassionate, giving, and loving to Lisa. It's amazing how that always works. You know, whenever we have guilt about feeding ourselves, serving ourselves, giving ourselves anything that we need to look at that closer. I used to say I felt guilty about having self-care and doing self-care because of what it took away from Jelani, my son, or what it took away from my parents, or what it may have taken away from my clients. But the reality was, it was simply the need for more personal development. For me to understand, I'm not only worthy, you're not only worthy of success and abundance, you're worthy of self-care. Like, it sounds so different because we're so used to running after, an abundant life, running after the riches of life, whatever those riches are, whether riches in relationships, riches in financing, riches in health and wellness. But you rarely see someone running after self-care because it's actually so available to us. It's a choice. And so it's easier for us to hide behind those other things when in fact, self-care is just as much our birthright. And we have to look at it just like we look at abundance, because we have to make a decision to give ourselves permission to have a healthy relationship, healthy lifestyle, financial abundance, and self-care. That self-care is a demonstration of self-love. So I ask you, why would you feel so guilty about loving yourself? A lot of times it's because we've learned how to love others much more than we've learned how to love ourselves. We've been taught how to serve others, sometimes to the detriment of our own selves. Sometimes we serve others higher than we serve ourselves. At times we feel more comfortable with saying yes to other people and less comfortable saying yes to our own self-care. So I ask you, what is that about? It's about the opportunity to fall madly in love with you. The way you love those around you, to fall madly in love with your well-being, to fall madly in love with who you are when you get up from taking care of yourself. When you rise from a nap, or you rise from a spa day, or when you leave the gym, to fall madly in love with that level of excellence. And when you do, what you'll do is give to everyone else around you a better version of you. So oftentimes we sacrifice our own well-being because we're being what I call the sacrificial martyr. And I know that was me. I would serve everybody else, and everyone else would go, oh, I just don't have any time for Lisa. Well, that's the story we tell. I actually didn't believe that I deserved to have a day off. I didn't believe that I deserved to have a spa day. I didn't believe that I deserved to take a long walk on the beach. Something in me kept saying that I hadn't done enough. I hadn't achieved enough. I hadn't gotten far enough. So it actually had little to do with the people around me that I was blaming it on or using as my out. My child, my parents, my family, my community. It had to do with Lisa, giving Lisa the chance to actually enjoy the journey while still on it. So, self-care is a guilt-free act. Self-care is being responsible for your future. That you wouldn't dare get on a road trip that says it was 300 miles down the road. Look at your gas tank and see that you had 105 miles worth of gas in it. You would literally go and fill your tank up. Self-care is being responsible to your entire journey to go and fill your tank up. Remember, this show is not just a monologue. This show, our time together, it's a dialogue. So I want to hear from you. What was your biggest lesson or aha from this particular episode? Where do you know you can really tighten up on some self-care? What was your belief system? If you're not in self-care, come on, let's just tell the truth. This is what we do here. If you're not in self-care, then let's go back and look at why is it? I know mine was due to guilt. I felt like I hadn't achieved enough to earn the right to take time off. What's your reason if you're currently not doing self-care? Or who do you use as an out to not use self-care? Is it work? Is it children? Is it spouse? Is it family? What do you use as your reason for not taking time out for yourself? Or what's your commitment now that you've listened to this episode? Listen, my grandmother said, baby, she starts every sentence with baby. You're only held responsible for that you know. What you don't know, don't worry about. Well, now that you know that self-care is your responsibility to your future, what will you do differently? I look forward to hearing from you. So please leave me a comment below and subscribe if you haven't already done so. What are you waiting on? And always look out for more delicious, conscious, courageous conversations right here, because this is your home. And we are your tribe. And I am your sister in prosperity and in possibility. And every single time that I say that I believe in you and that I love you, it's not out of obligation. It's not out of obligation at all. It's because I do. I see you, and I love who I see. So I'll see you real soon. Take care.